up, good people?
What's up, good people, and welcome back to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Hart Joseph L., CEO of Sons of SP Phillips. Remember that the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination, so dominate or don't. It is totally up to you. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast. Also follow us on social media, IG, Facebook, and X at Sons of SPP. And you can also follow us on TikTok at SPP Medium, where we share a platform with the Two Harks and Thursday podcast. We often go live and have some discussions about our most recent episodes. But today, we're into a serious topic for this month of September, only because the month of September is a big month for health awareness for both men and women. And we here at Sons of SP Phillips, we not only just care about all of our family and friends, but we also care about all of your family and friends. September is both Prostate Health Month and Gynecologic Cancer Awareness Month. And this means we're talking about health for both men and women today. And yes, this is a conversation for everyone. Let's start with the ladies first. These wonderful women that's in our lives and these women that are listening right now, gynecologic cancer is the sixth most common cancer in women worldwide. And within that group, endometrial cancer is one of the most common types. Every 6 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with a gynecologic cancer. That includes cervical cancer, which starts in the cervix, the lower end of the uterus. There's also ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer starts in the ovaries, but also can begin in the fallopian tubes or peritoneum. Uterine cancer, which begins in the uterus, where a baby grows during pregnancy. There's vaginal cancer, and vaginal cancer starts in the vagina, the canal between the uterus and the outside of the body. And then there's vulvar cancer. This cancer begins in the outer part of the female genital organs. Each type of cancer is unique. They have different symptoms, there's risk factors, and there's prevention strategies. But one thing they all have in common is that early detection can save your life. Out of all of these cancers, only cervical cancer has a reliable screening test, the Pap test, often paired with the HPV test for women over 30. These tests can detect precancerous changes before they turn into cancer. For the other types, there's no standard screening, which means knowing your body and recognizing symptoms is very critical at this point. Some symptoms to watch for include spotting between cycles or postmenopausal bleeding, pelvic pain or pressure, unusual discharge or color, changes to the skin or the genitals, and pain during or after intercourse, and unexplained weight loss or extreme fatigue. Prevention matters, and the HPV vaccine is a game changer. HPV causes most cervical, vagina, and vulvar cancers. The vaccine is recommended for preteens at 11 to 12 years old, and some can start as early as 9. It's also recommended for everyone through the age of 26 if you're not already vaccinated, and in some cases up to age 44. It works best before any exposure to HPV, but even if you've had the vaccine, you still need to have regular screenings. And I just want to put this out for a quick note here. I am not a doctor, and I am not telling you to get the HPV vaccine for yourself or for your child. My goal is only to share information so you can have an informed conversation with your healthcare provider. They can help you decide what's right for you based on your personal health history. With this being Gynecologic Cancer Awareness Month, we also need to talk about racial disparities and the outcomes. Black women have the highest overall mortality rates for cervical cancer and significantly higher mortality rates for endometrial and tubal ovarian cancers compared to white women. White women have a higher incidence of ovarian cancer but lower mortality rates compared to black women. Hispanic women experience higher rates of cervical cancer incidence and mortality, especially for cervical adenocarcinoma. Asian and Pacific Islander women generally have the lowest early death rates across all types of gynecologic cancers. On the practical side of this, most insurance plans, thanks to the Affordable Care Act, cover women's preventative screenings with no cost sharing. But treatment costs still can be high, so it is worth confirming your coverage with your provider before you schedule any visits. The bottom line here is talk to your loved ones. Know your family history. And do not ignore the symptoms if you have any. And if you are a survivor, your story could be the reason someone else gets checked in time. So please, if you're a survivor, share your story. Now, let's talk about the men. We're going to talk about prostate cancer. For men, prostate cancer is the second leading cancer among men. And right now, there are more than 3 million men in the U.S. living with it. On average, 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with this in their lifetime. Here is something that we cannot ignore. There are significant racial disparities in prostate cancer. For black men, the risk is even higher. 1 in 6 will develop prostate cancer, and they're more than twice as likely to die from the disease. That's why awareness and early detection matters so much. Screening starts with a simple blood test. Get the PSA test, and sometimes a digital rectal exam. For men at average risk, most experts say you should start talking to your doctor about screening around the age of 55. Other organizations suggest starting that conversation as early as 45 or 50, especially if you know you have risk factors like family history. And let's talk about family history. If you had a dad, a brother, a grandfather, or an uncle who had prostate cancer, your risk goes up significantly. That might mean you need to start screening a whole lot earlier. The timing for prostate exams isn't one size fits all. It all depends on your age, your health, and your family history. The good news is prostate exams are covered under most insurance plans as preventative care thanks to the Affordable Care Act. So just call your insurance carriers to double check on that. Bottom line about this, do not wait until there's a problem. Early detection can save your life, and if you're listening and you have a man that you love dearly, a friend, a brother, a husband, be the one who reminds them to go get checked. Now you're probably wondering, why does all this matter? This matters because these aren't just men issues, and these aren't just women issues. These are family issues. They affect partners, kids, friends, and your community. Talking about them openly helps break stigmas, encourages early detection, and supports research that leads to better treatment and cures. So this month, let's make it normal to ask, hey, when was the last time you had your checkup? Do you know your family history? Talk to your doctors about screenings. If there's one thing you take away from today's episode, let it be this. Awareness is only powerful if it leads to action. So here's your challenge today for this week. No, just for today. We're not going to delay this out. Schedule your own checkup. Remind someone that you love to do the exact same thing. Share this episode, or if you know a survivor story, share that. Join the conversation online with hashtag Prostate Health Month, hashtag Gynecological Cancer Awareness Month, or hashtag GCAM. This is the Elephant Wisdom Podcast, and I am your host, Hart Joseph L., CEO of Sons of SP Phillips. And remember, the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast. This is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't, it is up to you. Follow us on social medias at Sons of SPP, and most of all, as you travel here and from, there and then, make sure you pray along the way.